These are four brothers, here to provide, guide, and share the heart-centered light from within, utilizing experience and perspective on masculinity as a whole. They now invite you to come on this epic journey to grow with them and watch the magic happen. The movement within.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Movement Within. I'm Josh, this is Chris, Derek, and Johnny. This week we're going to be talking about fear. Fear, to me, one of the biggest obstacles is fear. I think a lot of it has to do with other people's thoughts. Like, you kind of put other people's thoughts in your head and it makes you fearful of what they're thinking about you. Kind of like what we do here, like we don't know what you guys are thinking, and it kind of scares me. But there's a whole bunch of things to that, like going to a new job, it's always kind of scary. Meeting new people, figuring out new responsibilities that you're going to have to do. Having a kid's scary. I mean, everything can be so fearful in life. It's just new experiences all the time. What do you guys think?
100% agree, man. Like, I literally just put out a vlog of my own about being vulnerable and telling people what I'm afraid of. And like, I'm afraid of like other people's opinions and their judgments. Like, but that's the thing. Like, I'm not afraid to tell these guys like what I'm thinking, how I feel. But when it comes to somebody I don't even know, or like a group of people, like anybody, like I don't even know, I feel like their opinions matter. And I know that they shouldn't, but for some reason I'm afraid of them. But at the same time, like, I'm still gonna do what I want to do, but at the same time, I don't let other people's opinions and judgments like stop me. You know, even though like I'm scared, it's super scary, but I'm gonna get over that hurdle.
You know, and it's crazy because Chris actually did a vlog, or I think it was a vlog he was doing it on Snapchat, but he kind of posted that there was a whole family watching him do his vlog.
Yeah, dude.
And he had his camera up and everything. I mean, you know, and that's kind of like, I mean, a lot of the time when we started doing this, I'd get weird when people would walk by and stuff like that, but he's conquering it.
I wish I could have shown that. Like, I was literally like talking to the camera, right? Like in the middle, and like up on the hill, I could see like behind the camera, there was like a family, like literally like the mom, the dad, the sister, the cousin, the dog. There was a dog. Like everybody, the whole family was there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I wonder what they're thinking. But I was just like, I have to do it for the vlog, and so I just looked at the camera and I just kept going, you know, like. So I'm saying, like, I was scared of what they're thinking, but I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it for the vlog, and I did it for the vlog.
Dude, I think a lot of it too is like the fear of the unknown, right? Like, we don't know what it is. Like, to Chris's point, is he does his vlogs, and to a certain extent, he doesn't care what people think, but to another extent he does, right? Because he doesn't know what they're thinking or how they're feeling about it, especially if it's somebody that is watching his vlogs and they may want to comment but never do, and it's like, well, how do you know what to do in that situation? And I think a lot of that is like how you determine like what success it would be for you in that type of situation, right? Like what you're really getting out of it. And I think of it as this way too, right? Like, there's a lot of times, and when I was growing up, I was asked, well, what are you scared of, or what are you fearful of? And same question that I would ask other people, and a lot of times it would be very surface level, right? The first thing I used to always say was, I hate and I never want to be in the mountains at night, like with no fire, no nothing, right? It's pitch dark, there's like fucking animals and shit out there. Like, I don't even want to deal with any of that. I don't even want that to cross my mind, right? But in reality, what I'm really thinking of is like, I really don't know what's out there, right? I don't know if there's a squirrel that's gonna jump on my back and eat me, or someone's gonna, you know, a werewolf's gonna jump out of the woods, right?
Homeless man.
But I think a lot, yeah. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. But no, like, I mean, it really comes down to like that, like the unknown, right? And I think a lot of it too is, for example, like people, they like to get very comfortable in their current state and current life because they're too fearful deep down to push themselves to do what they really want to do. That's why you see people stuck in the same job. That's why you see people stuck in the same relationships. You see people literally just doing a repetitive motion of the same thing that they're doing because that's what they know, but it's also very scary for them to move forward in that situation.
Right. Yeah, I agree with all three of these guys. Fear is something that I think all of us act off of every single day, whether we recognize it or not. I think a lot of it is faulty programming. Most fear that you do have is from somebody else's opinions or somebody else's experiences, and that could go back to something that you got fearful from your parents and they got it from their parents, and so on and so forth. It's like, how are you going to know you're really fearful from something, or how are you going to conquer that fear unless you actually do it? Like Chris doing a vlog in front of his family. It's just one of those things you got to try for yourself, and you got to do it. You can't sit here and ask for other people's opinions about it when you're trying to live your life, because it's all, perspective in what you're doing,
Well, it's not just a one and done, right? Like to that point, right? Because like Chris, dude, how many times has he vlogged himself?
Yeah.
Been fearful of it,
Oh, yeah.
but he's continually overcoming that fear, right? I think a lot of us, we're always looking for that finish line, and we're like, oh, once I do this once, then I'm done and I'm good and I'm not. It doesn't happen that way. Like that's the point of life, is it's always gonna reoccur at some point. You may feel differently, right? For one moment you may be hella fearful to where it paralyzes you, but let's say 2 years later a similar situation happens and you're not even close to that, right? You still feel it, but it's not affecting you as bad or in a negative way.
Yeah, and that was kind of getting me back too, is like, fear doesn't have to be negative. Everybody, when they think of fear, they think, oh, that's a bad thing, oh, I don't even want to go there, it's a dark place. Like, no, fear is a lot of fuel for a lot of successful people.
Yeah.
Fear is getting uncomfortable, being in uncomfortable spots. How are you going to grow if you don't get in uncomfortable spots? You don't. You stay the same. You get complacent, you stay the same. You can't sit there and ask for the different results when you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can turn this around, and it kind of goes back to being aware of where that fear is coming from and what it's trying to do, because essentially what it's trying to do is actually help you, not take you away from it. In certain situations, obviously you might not want to get too close to the edge of a bridge. If it don't have a gate there, you might fall off. That's different from standing in front of a crowd and talking in front of them. So no, I would, really encourage people to try and get out there and get into situations that are uncomfortable for them, because it will help you with a lot of fear-based things and help you triumph over a lot of things.
Well, I think a lot of that, to that point too, Johnny, is like, dude, there's so many situations where we think that because we're fearful that we're gonna stay in this safe place, right? Like for example, you could walk across that bridge and it has no gate, and you're gonna be overcoming that fear, but you might step back and be like, you know what, I'm not even gonna get on that bridge, because I'm gonna just sit back, and it's safer for me just to sit here and do nothing. Public speaking is another one of those things, right? I can get up and talk and speak to the world, but you know what, it might be safer if I just sit back and not do it, because I don't have to worry about the judgment. I don't have to worry about me getting nervous or embarrassed or doing something stupid or whatever. And so I think to Johnny's point is being very aware and finding that true balance between what that is, because fear can definitely be a great thing. It can also hold you back at the same time.
I think too, like kind of how fear is, I think you got to think to yourself and to think real hard, is like, if I don't do it, is this going to benefit me, type of thing. Like, is it more scary for me not to do it? You know what I mean? Like, because the benefit if you do it, but you don't, if you just go off of fear and you just don't do what you came out there to do, I mean, you kind of just giving up. You don't know what the benefit is even going to be, kind of like door knocking.
Right.
Like, you never know, like, just going up and knocking on somebody's door. I mean, I've psyched myself out 1,000 times, but it's like, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, there could be somebody on the other side of that door that wants to sell their house, and you get money. I mean, really, fear is keeping you away from money, friends, girlfriends, really anything it could be. It's pretty crazy.
And what I think what Josh was kind of saying too, is when you're looking at fear, how are you looking at it? Is it your opinion about it? Are you fearing about something for your own sake, or is it fearful for something else? I think is a huge way how you should approach what's happening in your situation. if it comes up.
Oh yeah, no, like so I went to Top Golf last Friday with a bunch of friends, right? And yeah, we were having fun, drinking a little bit, trying to golf. Just hitting it as hard as we could. And
Happy Gilmore.
yeah, and this kind of brings back to like I think what all of us can relate to is I saw this attractive woman and my friend saw this attractive woman as well, but I held myself back, right? Because I didn't want to I was fearful of rejection. I was fearful that I'd look stupid, and it not only just talking to her, but like the way that it was is she's not there golfing by herself, holding up a whole section by herself. She's there with a group of friends, guy friends, girlfriends, whatever. So not only do you have to talk to her, but you also have to talk to all of her friends.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to worry about the judgments and all that stuff, right?
Who's this guy?
But then at the end of the day too, it goes very to the situation like Josh was talking about, is knocking on the door, right? Almost every single times when you overcome something like that and you were to go talk to that girl or knock on that door or take that first phone call in the corporate world, right, in a call center, you feel 10 times better afterwards, right? You get that sign of relief no matter how it goes, good or bad, literally. Instantly, you normally get that very strong sign of and feeling of relief afterwards, right? And then, next time it comes up, you see an attractive girl and you be like, hey baby, what's up? No,
You feel even better.
I mean, but you're more likely to, right? I think those experiences help you, and back to like how it can be used for the good, right? I'll go back in my mind and be like, oh, remember that one time I didn't talk to that girl that I was attracted to, and if I see another girl I'm attracted to, I'll be like, I don't necessarily want to go down that same road, so it's motivating for me to change my decision that I made back then in the present and go forward with it and just go and say hi and talk and see what happens.
Well, you could plan ahead too. You can say, okay, if I'm gonna go talk to this girl, I might get rejected. You might as well just accept that right now. It might happen.
Who cares?
And then if it happens, guess what? It happened. You've already accepted it. No big deal,
So I honestly know a lot of people that have, it's been 10 years since they've been talked to girls, like gone to clubs or a bar or the mall, just even say hi to women. It's pretty crazy what you can see out there, because you just got to think how unhappy they are, and they're always thinking in their head like, oh God, that girl's so pretty, I wish I could talk to her, I wish she would talk to me. But in all reality, they can talk to you and you can talk to them. It's just you just don't even do it, and it's kind of sad to see it happen a lot, because I've seen one of my really good friends do it constantly, and he's such a good guy, but he's never gonna get a girl because he'll never talk to one. So it's just like, it's hard to watch.
The funny thing is that not necessarily fear, right? Like, but they could also be just as nervous as you are, right? Like, we talk about energy a lot, right? And so like you're putting that energy out there already, right? And so like when you approach them and you're, hey, that you feel the jitters, right?
Yeah.
And I actually love it at the same time, because I was telling Chris this before, right? I love that nervous feeling. I love like getting embarrassed a little bit. I love like when you're on that first date and you mess up here and there or whatever, because then you look back and you're just like, you love that memory and you love that experience no matter what happens, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're like talking about like girls and stuff, but that's like one of the biggest fears. And I know it's happened to me a couple times. Like I was at this concert and I was like, this girl is cute, I'm gonna get her number. And I was on crutches and I was super scared, and then I was like, I'm gonna go for it. And then I went for it and I got it. And then it's just, but then there was another time when I was at the bar and I saw this girl. I was like, she's cute, I'm gonna go ask for her number. And then right there, that's when in my head it was like, dude, she's gonna say no. But like you can feel yourself like fighting yourself, and as soon as I feel that, I like turn my brain off. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I just like, I stop thinking. I'm just like, I don't let my ego get to me, and I don't let the fear get to me, because I can feel it coming up. And I'm like, as soon as I see that girl, I'm like, oh, she's cute, I'm gonna ask her a number. And then boom, I stop thinking anything negative and I just
Go for it.
And then I just start walking over there. And then it's just like, well, why are you fucking walking? Like, I have to do it. And then
Action.
action. And that's a real story. I did it, and I didn't get her number that time, but that's one thing. Like, I mean, that works for me. Like, I just literally am like, I'm gonna do it, and I don't think of anything else. And I'm just like, I don't think of anything else but doing it. And that's how I think I get over fear. That's how I do it. I don't know how you guys get over that.
But what hurts you more? Not asking
Yeah.
or
Same
asking,
thing.
because asking, you got your answer, you got
Yeah.
you accept it more,
Yeah.
but then when you don't, you always have this what ifs, what at.
Well, you feel
It's the-
totally defeated. You know what I'm saying?
But
It's
it's
like,
by yourself. You didn't even,
punch
by
in
then
the
you
face
get
type
defeated by
stuff.
somebody else. But if you do it to yourself, I think it's more detrimental, and it just
Yeah.
throws you further into that fear.
yeah.
I think the rejection, like, I remember when I was in junior high, I got rejected like so quick. I was like, hey, I don't even remember, but I was like walking and I asked this girl for her if she would go out with me or something, and she said no, and I was just like, oh, and I was like, dang, that hurt. But now, now it's just like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, I don't know, the rejection doesn't hurt me. What hurts me is the regret. Like I should have done this. What if I did this differently? Like, that's the number one killer for me. Like, I don't want to look back yesterday or tomorrow and be like, I should have asked her, or I should have done this. I should have asked my boss, or I should have. I don't like to say should have, because if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're not, then don't talk about it. That's how I see it.
I think some of the funny things too is like, for example, in my job when I was a teammate and I was taking phone calls and I saw somebody new come in, let's say Johnny or any of us came in, and you guys come in, you're highly confident. I'm just thinking, okay, now this dude, whoever they are, I don't know who you are, but now you're my competition, right? So I get in my head of like, no one's gonna be better than me, because I'm searching for self-worth, or that I need to know that I'm enough inside because I didn't have that as a kid, or whatever the root cause of that is, right? But coming from a fear-based perspective, right? I'm acting out of fear because I feel like I need to fight for what I'm wanting in that situation. And the crazy thing is every time that has happened to me in the past, I literally always become best friends with those people, right? There's always I could count probably 3 or 4 times that that's happened, and literally I always become best friends with those people because we are very similar in the situation. We have similar fears, we have similar fronts, experiences, whatever that situation may be, and that's guy to guy. And I bring that up because you think of society now. Like, I remember this one time I was walking through Walmart, right? And this is back when I thought I was this, fucking hard ass and I could handle anything that came in my way. And literally I was walking and I used to hate when people would stare at me, right? And so this one dude walking up, I was by the pastries or whatever, he's just staring at me. So I was like, okay, well, I'll fucking stare back at you, right? What's wrong for us? So literally we're just walking and we're, and then our heads are turning and you're like, what's up, fool? What do you want to do, I think of it now, what I would do now, right? And this is probably 12 years later from that experience. If I were to walk by, I'd probably just smile and say hi.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna act like no hard ass. I don't need to prove myself. I'm good. I'm good
Probably
exactly
keep
the way
on
I am.
staring.
He might have thought you were attractive.
Maybe, and that's fine too. That brings up another good point, right? Just because someone thinks you are attractive and they are male or whatever, that doesn't mean you need to act any more tough or strong or get anything like that, and that's another thing. A lot of people feel they need to put up that wall because they're like, oh, I'm not that way. I don't find interest in men or whatever it is, and so they go into a fearful state of having to prove to society and other people that they're not this specific way, right? It's you don't need to do that, right? You can still accept everyone for exactly who they are out of love and light, and literally don't even worry about that fear. Especially, this, you got to get to it for one, right? This takes years of reprogramming and working on yourself and these things. It's not just an overnight thing. But it's just funny how everything that we're talking about, girls, guys, people that like certain people or have certain partners or whatever it is, how it all kind of ties into the one thing, right?
I kind of wanted to add something too, kind of like Derek. When I was growing up, I used to get crazy when people looked at me. Everywhere I went, man, in the car, walking in the mall, I'd always be staring people down. I mean, if they look at me, I'd fucking flip them off. You know what I mean? All the time, I just always had this chip on my shoulder, and to this day now, I think now, finally, this year, I think I just walk straight, and I look at people and stuff, but back in the day, I would look at them, make sure they weren't looking at me type of thing. But now it's if I see them looking, I just put my hand up and say hi, like, just like Derek says. I mean, and then just look away, go about my business. But I think I was just so wrapped up into thoughts and things of other people that are just reacting in a negative way every time, you know.
Think how it is, like, so for example, let's use that same one in the Walmart, right? Like, I can go and I'm by myself, say hi, but think of how many of us, because we're with our boys, that we need to like show up.
Yeah.
Right? And we need to act tougher, and we need to act harder, and we need to speak a different way or act a different way or whatever the case may be, right? But when we're just with ourselves, we're completely different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then how many of you out there have actually, you know, explained or had said a story to somebody or one of your friends, and you were just like, oh yeah, dude, this dude was staring me down, and I was like, what's up, son? You know, like, or whatever it is, and you have to act all hard, and you're making this shit up in your mind. But your true self, your real honest self, is sitting back and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you making this stuff up? Like, just be real about it. If you want to tell a story, that's fine. Just be real about it. You don't gotta like make up all this, you know, you make up this story or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that's happened to a lot of people, right?
Yeah, it does.
Right. Well, just being a man and being fear-based, I mean, to society, a man's not supposed to have any fear in us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to
Just
fear
kidding.
nothing. We got everything. We pop back.
We look down. We pop
But no, it's nothing like that, you know, and I think that's where a lot of guys get really fearful, is they're like, oh, I'll become less of a man, or society's not gonna accept me, or my friend's not gonna accept me, or whatever society's saying about it, you know. We sit there and nitpick it, and instead of, you know, asking ourselves what we truly feel about it, you know, and you go off, you just keep on going off of everything else that you were taught, like Derek was saying, you know, old programming that's been in there, and it's tough. It's tough to get through all that, but I mean, it's definitely there in all of us, and I encourage every single one of you, male and female, just when those fear-based thoughts even come up, just be aware of them. You know, start changing them, start pulling them out of there, saying there's no more, and start filling them with good thoughts, good, you know, good awareness of what's going on, and I swear it will change your world. You know, because it's time for people to start waking up and stop living such a fear-based life, because I'm pretty sure probably 90% of the world lives in a fear-based life, in a fear-based world right now.
Sucks.
You know, and I can say that all four of us still go through fear-based things every single day, but when we can recognize it, be aware of where it came from, and then act on it in a true way of how we think our truth should be, it makes it so much easier. And once you start doing that time and time and time again, and cutting those cords, it becomes easy. It becomes like you eating your morning breakfast every day. It just is there, you know, but it takes a fight to get there, but it's worth it, and you break free and you become, you know, free in your mind and your thoughts and your feelings. Aware.
So yeah, so like think of like know your triggers too, right?
Yes.
Like for example, I'll use Instagram as this example, right? And I use this because it's very popular from what I've witnessed myself. But and this is men and women, right? Like you're sitting there, let's say you are into fitness, right? You see all these fitness models and all these people that are ripped up or like have that tight stomach, or are eating super healthy, and instantly your mind wants to compare you to them. Right? And then you want to be like them. And then next thing you know, you're starting to wear the same clothes that they wear. You're starting to act the same way that they are, instead of being who you are, because you don't even know who you are in that sense, right? You're trying to live your life through somebody else. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and then they were talking exactly about this same thing, right? Where you know, you have that certain type of hairdo because you saw somebody else that has it, you like the way that it looked on them, so therefore you're trying to implement it, and maybe that's not the best hairdo for you, right? or the type of clothes that you're wearing, or whatever that is, right? Like, find who you truly are. And I think that we talk a lot about masculinity in this. So if you were to think from like a woman's perspective, right? And again, this is just coming from our own opinions and from what we see or have witnessed or experienced ourselves, is you think of like those Cosmo magazines or whatever is out there. I don't even know what's out there. It's been a minute since I've even checked. But like you think about it, right? Where you're literally comparing all day, every day. Or you walk into the store yourself and you see a girl and you're intimidated by her because you feel like she looks better than you, right? Or her personality is more outgoing than yours, And in reality, you really are you are outgoing yourself. You're just afraid to bring that out.
Yep.
Right? It literally goes both ways. This isn't just for the masculinity side of it. The femininity of it is a lot, plays a huge role in that situation as well, right? And that's what I think. I know that we have a few friends that talk about and blow up some of the situations of like, that's why I brought up the whole Instagram situation, right? Like you even think like that, like the whole Nitro Circus thing or whatever, how
Yeah.
guys are out there just like killing themselves, doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, dude, you bring me to a lake to jump off a cliff, I'm not doing it.
That's the small.
No thanks, dude.
I am.
I don't care. Dude, it took me like 25 years before I jumped off the 3-foot diving board. I don't go off anything more than that. Right? I'm telling you right now, and I'm okay
This
with
summer
it.
it's gonna happen, guys.
No, dude,
We're gonna get him.
I'm okay
We're gonna
with
get
it.
him past his
I'm
fears.
okay with it, right? But if you really think about it, like, okay, so just a little bit about me, I guess. So like when I was young, I didn't know how to swim, right? We're all in that stage. So my mom throws me in the deep end, right? And so I was, you go down, you touch the ground, and you kick yourself back up, you get air, you go back up, same old thing, right? So that's what I was doing, and so it was hard for me to learn how to swim in that situation. And I mean, granted, she did what she felt she needed to do, right? But ever since then, it's like I'm afraid of water when it comes to those situations,
Really?
especially like deep water, right? I go in the ocean, I always have that life vest, dude. I cannot get in there, and that's why the 3-foot diving board is my comfort zone, or is where I'm gonna go, right? But at the end of the day, like I am okay with it. If I find value to jump off of a 10-foot diving board, I may do that. Maybe this
Even
summer.
a 12-foot.
Yeah, maybe even a 12-foot. you know what I'm saying? Like I don't need to be some hard ass and be like, oh yeah, I'll go and do this, or I'll go and do that, or it doesn't need to be like that, really. It's just, if you don't want to jump off the 12-foot diving board, then stay to the 3-foot.
And we're not all three gonna strap him up and take him up there and make him jump off. Like a lot of group of friends do that. To
Yeah, the
other
peer pressure,
friends.
and then do this, you're a pussy, you're a wuss, or what, all that crap. Like that, none of that is needed.
I kind of want to know, like, just for fun, like, what you guys are afraid of, like, I don't know, like for example, like, if you guys are like, oh, hey, I'm afraid of little dogs. You know what I mean?
Sharks.
Like, he's afraid of sharks.
Straight up, I don't
Uh,
think I could ever see myself getting in the ocean.
Say that I'm afraid of the ocean, and I'm afraid of being in prison.
I've been to jail.
It's because like the ocean, you don't know what's down there, dude. Like,
So the unknown again.
yeah,
And
the
his-
unknown.
his
And like,
booty hole.
and it's all in my head. Like, I just think of like, you ever seen that picture of a canoe? And then like it's an overhead shot, and there's like a huge like whale or
Yeah.
whatever. That's what I think every single time.
Or the Jaws picture.
Yeah, dude, it's just like
It's because of Shark Week when
Sorry.
we were little kids, dude.
Don't watch Shark Week. Don't watch it.
and for prison, like it's kind of with the whole masculinity thing. Like I would not fit in there, and I'm just gonna say it. I would be somebody's bitch real quick because I cannot handle that, dude. Like I'm not like what society calls a man. You know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
say that, Chris.
sorry, dude. He's flexing. No, yeah, that scares me though, because I feel like I could not handle being in prison or being in the ocean.
Yeah, I told you guys this in the beginning, right? Okay, so it's the mountains late at night, dude. Like I can't. It's just too quiet. The lions and bears and cats, oh my.
What about camping? What about
That's-
camping?
that's
Does
like
that not
my-
freak you out?
Oh, I stay close.
That's my comfy spot.
You know when you go camping
Love it.
and you got like the fire and all that, and then like you gotta go pee, and then you're out there and it's like. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like and then again, the reason it's fearful, the biggest root cause is because I don't know what's out there.
Jason Voorhees.
And then your mind starts to go to that place of what if I do get eaten, dude, or what if what if something does happen? What if I just go missing all of a sudden, right?
Peace out.
I mean, I don't know if it's like or classify as the same thing, but a big thing for me is like when you feel like your kid or your kids are taken, right? So I was at Nickelcade once, brought my boy to Nickelcade, and anyone that isn't familiar, it's just a big arcade, right? It's older, it's a big arcade. And so we're doing our own thing, playing some video games, and my little dude, he just runs everywhere, right? And so next thing I know, I'm like, you like look and you're just like, okay, I don't see him. and then you're looking a little longer, like shit, where the fuck is he at? And then next thing you know, like for me, where I feel it is like right on your like lat in your back, right? Like right there on that. That's where like the
Urgency.
the worry is just like it just clenches onto me.
ya.
And then next thing I know, I'm running through Nickel Cay trying to find him. And the scary part in that example is I ran through once, didn't see him anywhere, and then I'm like, dude, he's gone. Like he's gone. Like someone fucking took him. And then I'm like, I'm going again. So I go and make a second round, and I find him inside. You know those games that are like in like still closed, and you can barely get in. He's just in there. Hey, Dad. And I'm just like, fuck, dude.
God.
You know what I mean? Like you're getting a leash. No, I'm just kidding.
You're about to
You know what I
go
mean?
breathing.
But like
time.
that's another
Okay.
huge fear for me.
I had a dream
because
about that.
That's my responsibility,
That's
right?
a
Like
scary
he's
one.
my child. He needs, I need to watch him. I need to be there. And man, that's why like parks, big parks, dude. They're those
It's
get me
scary,
too,
man.
yeah.
You got to be on your kids.
Yeah,
Right?
especially if you have two. Like if you have two and you're, one's running off and you're watching the younger one, right? Because you need to tend for them, and then next thing you know, you're just like, oh fuck, dude. Like, you have no idea, you know. But,
It's crazy. I'm definitely, that's definitely one of my fears is losing my kid.
Yeah.
Or something just happening to her, something, out of your control where it's like, what did I do or what just happened? It's definitely a really, really scary, scary, scary thing. There's nothing that can prepare you for that. If there's parents out there, you know that. But one of my biggest fears, honestly, is living and getting old alone. Being alone, and dying alone, and it just takes me away from what I think success is. First off, there's no dying alone if I achieve my success in my life, and that is full self-love and compassion for everything that I am and everything that everybody else is. If I figure that one out, I don't think I'm dying alone. But, that's just a fearful thing to me, It's running some of my family, and it's just people tend to push people away. And it's, sometimes people just don't push people away. Sometimes they're just alone a lot of the time, and that just scares me to not have somebody there, it just at all, It can be a scary thing. You start getting into your thoughts, and getting out of your emotions, and you start getting in this fear-based world, especially when you're by yourself, Most fear pops up in my head when I'm bored and I'm alone. It's usually not when I'm out doing something because I'm being productive and I usually change my thinking around or this or that, but when I have time to sit there and think about it, I tend to make these big elaborate stories about nothing and catch myself and I'm like, what are you doing?
you're thinking the worst, right?
But I think that all kind of coincides with just being in fear, but it's all, once you kind of becoming aware of that, like I was telling you in the first place, as long as I am truly solely sound with myself and who I am, then I'm truly never alone, and we're never truly alone,
Ever.
ever. Just ask. It's a free agency world. You gotta ask. You always gotta ask. If you want something, if you want to get rid of your fear, ask for it. Put your emotions in to do it.
If you never ask, the answer is always no.
If you ask, you can get help. You get a lot more help. If you don't ask, you don't receive anything besides your own help.
And I think this brings up a good, because I wanted to ask you guys too, right? Like we've been talking a lot about fear, our experiences of fear, but I think a big part of this is like solutions to this, right? I think a big part of that too is root causing exactly what it is, right? So again, fear of being alone, if we were to use that example, Johnny, because I've had that fear before, right? And personally I feel like I'm on the upswing, which I feel like you're the same, right? Of getting to that point where I'm not fearful of being alone because I feel like I'm never ever alone, right? Because I always have myself, right? And that took a lot of work to get there. But I think a lot of that too is literally finding the root cause, asking for help from counselors, therapists, friends, surrounding yourself with positive people in situations as well, right? We talk a lot about what was that saying of you become who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
That's very true as well. If you're always around people that are full of drama, full of negativity, that fear is going to linger, right? If you put yourself around people that are positive and uplifting and full of light, it's gonna be the opposite of that, right? But I think meditation is huge because that really allows you to deep dive into yourself to see why you are fearful of whatever it is that you're fearful of, right? And then that's where you can start coming up with a lot of different solutions of asking for the help or or coming across like, okay, maybe I should do this differently, right? Like, for example, maybe I don't give a shit if the girl says no, right? I have a very similar example that Chris has. I was in middle school. Me and this girl were hanging out, went to the school dances together, whatever. You could tell energetically she was feeling me, I was feeling her. And then it just so happens everyone has that one hallway, right, where everyone hangs out. And I remember I went behind her, I put my arms behind her, and I was like, hey, hey, would you be my girlfriend? And right when I said girlfriend, right after that D, she said, nope. And I was like, all right. So I had to take my arms off, and I was like, well, I'll catch you later there, But it's just, it's just funny how those things happen. So, I mean, literally the best best advice I can give is look inside yourself, focus on yourself, not everyone else around you, and really find out what it is, your driving force, that really where that fear is coming from. And then find that solution. Talk to yourself about it. Provide yourself with positive affirmations every single day. Tell yourself that you love yourself, right? Find out why you love yourself in the first place and who you really are, right? No matter how scary that is, no matter how dark that may be, it's what is best for you, right? From my experience, and I want to hear everyone else's solutions as well, right? To give you guys, what you can use. But from my experience, the darkest of moments always has the brightest light around it, no matter what it is, through it, under it, over it, no matter where it is. It's all in how you see it and what you think about it.
Definitely how you perceive it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's definitely how you perceive it.
Because I mean, the best light I've ever found, or that I hold truest to me, has definitely come in my most darkest times.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a choice. Because that kid had either been my darkest night, or it's my lightest candle
Yeah.
in my closet. I decided, the latter, the better one.
And sometimes you don't find your candle, dude. Like, sometimes you go through that darkness a few fucking times.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's how you're going to learn your lesson the most, right? But to Johnny's point, he didn't stop finding or searching for his candle.
Yeah, that candle probably, it didn't come the first time. Never does, never will. That candle that you hold special, it took many, 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 many dark years of my life to find that, and that's why I hold it so close to me, because it makes me who I am.
Yeah. And think of expectations, right? A lot of you, I'm sure, when you think of that, you're like, okay, again, one and done, right? I found my candle the first time, and maybe some of you will, and hopefully if that is the case, then that's what's supposed to happen for you, right? But I challenge you to push yourself beyond that, right? There's actually more than one candle, right? You could have as many candles as you want, as many as you're searching for, right? But again, if it was easy, then everyone would be able to do it. This life would not be the way that it is, right? The purpose of it being hard is for your growth. You have to go through that darkness in order to do that, and you are courageous and brave enough to do it. Don't talk yourself out of it.
Each and every one of you.
No. What about you? What solutions do you guys have for your fear that you've dealt with?
Really just taking action. I mean, that's really how I've figured out how to conquer my fears. Instead, like kind of Chris was saying earlier, just instead of just thinking about what they're thinking or whatever, I just blank out and just go for it, and just no scripts in my head, you know what I mean? Just go for it, just say what I gotta say. If I mess up, I laugh about it, like, that's really what I think. I mean, that's how I've been conquering everything, is just going for it instead of pondering on it.
So for me, I think I basically said it, like, it's the regret. I don't want to look back and say, I should have done that, or I should have done this differently. I don't want that feeling, because you can't go back. Nobody can go back. Show me one person that has gone back in time and said, this is what I did. No, there's nobody like that. You can't, so stop. That's why I don't try to think about I try. That's the key word. I try not to think about the past. Obviously, we think about it, but it's if we settle into it, if we let it consume us, we let it consume our thoughts, then your thoughts like turn negative, and then like what you're thinking about is what you're gonna get, and your day is most likely gonna be shitty after that, And so I always think of the regret. I don't want regret, so in order for me to not get regret, I take action. I go and do what I need to do, like whether it's asking for a girl's number, or the other day I thought I knew somebody from Instagram, and I literally was like, I don't know if I should talk to them. What do I say? And then my friend Sebastian was like, just say, hey, sorry to interrupt your dinner, but are you this person from Instagram? And so I was like, I don't know. And it took me literally like 20 minutes. And then I thought regret. And I was like, all right. So I walked over and I said, hey, sorry to interrupt your guys' dinner, but are you this person? And then she said no. And then I was like, oh, okay. Sorry that I interrupted you, and have a good night, whatever. And that was it. But I felt dumb, but at the same time, I felt better. I felt good that I did it because I didn't want that regret, and that's how I live. And like I said, as soon as when I start to feel myself double guessing myself, is that it? Second guessing myself, I stop thinking, I just fucking go. That's it. I just do it.
It's that little bit of like success that you get in between it. Like you just kind of popped in my head. Like even though you failed it, like you asked that girl and she said no, you still have that level of success that you still.
And then you can go back.
You still did as far as your goal could go. So and then you can do those little levels of success, and then you'll finally get that one girl that'll say yes, and you get that big level of success. But then by that time you're more in tune with what's going on and better off.
Then you have a story to talk about too. I went up to this girl the other day, tried to say hi, asked her if she's this girl from Instagram, but ended up not.
For real. It's on my phone. I literally tried to vlog it, tried to make it into a vlog. It didn't work out. It's funny to look back now because it's like, dude, I was worrying about that whole time and it didn't turn out to be the person I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just super funny. It's a good story. Thank you for watching our episode on fear. Tune in next time for our episode on action and how each one of us uses all the things that we talked about, how we try and get over fear, how we use awareness, how we use truth, and how we use our heart. And so that's next time, and we appreciate everyone that's been watching, and just want to say have a good night.
Yeah, and comment below, guys. Comment below.
Guys.
Love you.
Share it.
I don't know if you can hear me, but there's somebody that I know on Instagram on this other side of this table.
You were recording.
No, because that's weird. I don't know. I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. Nothing on my table. Anyways, I thought I knew somebody on Instagram on the other side of the wall, and I was literally like, took me forever to like build up the courage. And Sebastian was like, go do it.
It was like asking a girl for her name or her number.
Yeah.
He was so nervous.
Yeah. I remember the last time I asked for a girl's number, I was super scared. I fucking did it.
Did she give it to you?
Yeah.
Oh. Then I said,
Anyways, yeah, and then I did it, and it turned out what was funny, it wasn't even the person that I knew. Like, I was totally wrong. Whatever, just learn experience, it's fine. Oh well.